You're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers, brought to you by the Cork and Stogie, 1218 Duval Street, Key West, Florida. The facts and opinions of the show and its staff are prone to exaggeration, error, and conjecture, and are often given under the influence, always given under the influence of drinking beer. After all, this is a beer show. It's about beer, and we are busily drinking it while discussing its merits, so what did you expect? Slurring, laughing loudly, name-calling, and belching are par for the course, so it's best if you imbibe with us in a responsible manner, just to get into the spirit. We always welcome your comments, whether we actually pay attention to them or not. Thanks for listening.
Hey!
Okay, we're back with part 2 of the Sour Beer Show. All right, so we're ready for our second beer tonight.
Okay, so this is a
different brewery.
Yeah,
Petrus.
This is a Petrus brewery.
Old Brun.
Again, it's an old brown like the other one that we just got through, which was the Monk's Cafe beer.
I believe this is more sour.
Yes, this is more sour.
This is like more sourer.
More sourer, yes. Also aged in oak casks. Europe's finest dark Oude Brun.
Old brown.
Old brown.
Voted 2012 Europe's best old brown.
Okay.
So, Dave, you were actually touching on something off microphone earlier about this, about war borders and regions.
Yeah, I just felt that, it could be from the Alsace region or it could be from Germany, and without the war surrender borders, it's really the same country. You take away lines and you don't really know where you're at. And some people want a specific Belgian beer or a French beer only because. But if you take away that borderline, what country is this Belgian beer close to? I guess is
This I would say is Belgian, but Belgium is its own little animal.
But
Belgium,
but Belgium, and to cross on it on the wines, there are a lot of people that say they want a German wine, and that specific type of wine they want from Germany. Well, if you get it from the Alsace region of France, they can be so much better sometimes than that German wine. But they want the German one. Take away your line, you got a better wine. So lines mean nothing. It's the region, it's the country, it's the neighborhood. It's all
about neighborhoods.
I would think I would think that would be particularly true with wines because you're dealing with climates, sand, not sand. We have sand here, but soil, things like that. So you take away the lines. There's no difference.
You draw that line, and you got a winery over here, and on the other side you got another wine, but everybody's they don't want this one; they want that one because it's from Germany.
Yeah,
and I've talked about this before. The difference between Norman ciders and Basque ciders is very minimal, because it has to do with the climate and it has to do with soil content. In the Basque region and the Norman region, the Basque region of Spain and the Norman region of France, they border each other, and if you take away that border, it's basically the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to take away that border, there would be a lot of drive-by shootings. But that border exists for a reason at this point in time. I totally agree. So, Chris,
yes,
what do you got on this?
Much sharper.
Definitely
than
sharper.
the other one we had.
Potent sour.
The sharpness I'm getting in the center back of my tongue and the top of my mouth. Again, like the other one, it's also very effervescent.
I can't tell if it's the beer or the Benadryl. It's just that my tongue is dry.
Okay.
It might be the Benadryl.
Again?
It's also drier than the other beer.
Again?
Stop.
That's...
it does say it has a slightly sour character, and we're all agreeing that this is more sour than the first one.
Yeah.
Well, so this is...
And like I said, honestly... This is...
It's like Concord grape sour. It's like...
Well, I just said it, and I forgot what it was. Give me another beer.
More beer for Chris.
Yeah, more beer for Chris. No, I'm okay.
He's just kidding.
It might be the 18 months in oak that's bringing it out.
So,
a lot.
I definitely think that, Dave Sr., you're absolutely correct. 18 months of oak definitely has brought this to its more sharpness, its more sourness. Again, with the wild yeast, it's got that fruit. Mm-hmm. It's got a really dynamic kind of aftertaste.
Yes.
And it's not quite the telephone bowl.
No.
But it's right up there. And so for the next beer, I have a great pairing treat because I really want everyone to have a little taste of what's going on with the next one.
Okay.
But this one would actually go very well with that as well.
This one I find to be much drier than the other.
Yeah.
It's much drier.
It's much drier. I mean,
Yeah, it says it's a ideal thirst quencher at the bottom of your our notes here.
Well, I could also see it parching people out.
Yeah.
And
That's
you
true.
want to have like water after
That's
you
true.
have this.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? Contaminated beer.
Beg your pardon?
Not contaminated in a bad way, but like contaminated beer. So like I used to work on a tugboat, and we used to, our beer mugs would always be like splashed with salt water, and then we'd always like residual salt on our beer mugs because the windows in the galley were mostly broken.
Yikes.
This is painting an interesting picture.
Yeah. So we would put our beer mugs in the one window that was broken, and like like it would kind of collect, and we'd always dump the water out, whatever. But there would always be some residual salt saline kind of, this kind of salty, kind of pretzely.
What kind of
flavor.
mugs? I'm picturing like a pewter mug for some reason.
No, they were glass.
Okay.
Glass mugs.
You know.
Like your little A&W mug.
Oh, yeah, sort of like my little A&W mug.
It's got an A&W
so
mug.
if you guys ever come down to Key West and you see a tiny little A&W mug
At the Cork and Stogie.
at the Cork and Stogie, and you're drinking out of it, I'll kill you.
Don't touch his mug.
Don't touch my mug.
Don't touch his mug.
That's
what he said.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we used to keep our mugs right in the window because it was a good blocker for incoming seawater. But it was a
And seagulls.
residual salt. No.
No, just kidding.
Pterodactyls.
Pterodactyls. Mostly pterodactyls. So the beer would always be kind of a little bit corrupted. It would always be like there was always like residual salt water, some sort of sea life in the beer because it was just always splashing in from the ocean. And I remember one time we had actually like a keg of Budweiser, and it was like the best Budweiser I ever had. It was like the saltiest, most brackish Budweiser you could possibly imagine because it was.
Yeah.
It was like mostly
drinking out of those mugs.
Yeah, we're drinking out of these salty mugs, and I
back
remember
when Mark was a salty dog.
back when I was a salty dog. I only had one eye at the time. I grew out of it.
I'm glad you grew your eye back.
Yeah, I grew my eye back. It's like this tastes brackish. It has a really kind of a very.
That's a good.
Has a.
I agree.
Scotch is
Sure. So
some scotches
the scotches that are brewed on the coast.
Yeah, or brackish. Yeah. Like it feels like to me it would get darker if you added ice to it. It would if you added water to it, it would get darker in color.
Strange.
I would actually like to do that experiment, not on the air, but yeah.
Maybe what we
Might
could
take
do
a
is
while.
we get in contact with your friends who had the tugboat, and we'll fly up to New York and we'll do a show on the tugboat.
It's
I
a
think
dream.
that's a great idea.
It's a dream.
Brew dogs.
Yes.
Maybe we get the brew dogs to do it with us.
Wouldn't that be
there you go.
fun?
They could brew on the boat.
A little cross-pollination.
That would definitely be difficult and dangerous.
That's okay. That's what they do.
That
That's
sounds
what
like
they do. They've done it. They've done it before. So
that sounds like
You know,
fun.
we talked about seeing them like brew beer at 100 miles an hour at the Dover International
right.
Speedway. In the
Yeah,
back of the
but-
pickup truck.
This would be like at in the North Atlantic, with like a
Hell's Kitchen.
24-foot waves.
Yeah.
So
I find it
Interesting.
interesting that their notes are it's wine-like with aristocratic taste, and that seems like nothing you just mentioned.
no,
It is kinda wine-like.
honestly, this is sort of wine-like. This is sort of wine-like in a very brutal sense of wine. To me, this this tastes more like boxing than it does drinking wine.
Like
Dave,
boxing.
you being a
It's a brawling
wine-
beer.
Connoisseur?
yeah, well, a connoisseur, but also
Aficionado?
what's the word for someone who sells wine? There's a word for it.
There's a word for that?
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Oh, I had no idea.
being as
Shoe salesman.
Well,
being as someone who's a seller of fine wines, and having read that statement, what's your opinion of how do you correlate this beer being compared to wine?
just like the first one, it was champagne-like quality, I felt.
Would you think that's an accurate assessment, or do you think they're
Well, I don't know
completely
about
off the wall?
aristocratic taste of wine. Now that's getting up there pretty good.
yeah.
I don't know a Belgian aristocrat right now. I mean, the
There are
last
some.
aristocrat I knew.
There's a king and queen of Belgium.
But here again, I'm no food, no cigar. I'm drinking the beer.
No,
Okay.
nothing? No cigar at all?
Oh,
really?
I definitely would not cigar this.
Really? Okay.
I mean, like, just because it's, again, it tastes like boxing. It's so salty to me. It tastes like sweat. A little bit of
Knuckles to the
leather.
forehead.
It is reminds me a lot of what leather. I mean, like
Yeah.
boxing leather. I mean, it reminds me of like
It's
kind
kind
of
of like licking a football.
No, I don't know about the...
absolutely.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Licking
no,
the
no, no,
pigskin.
I would even
Licking
say
the pigskin. That's what
a
he
baseball
that's what he
or a
said.
softball.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 innings in.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he said.
Of a no-hitter.
Oh, here's
Of
the
a
idea.
no-hitter.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Here's the idea.
It's all
of it.
hands, no bat.
The 7th inning stretch is when you get to take a taste of the ball.
Yes. Howdy, this is Cowboy Mark from Brooklyn, and you're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers.
Is that the end of this one?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll move on to the other one.
And then we'll move on to the next one. Not that we absolutely want to, because this is a fabulous beer.
It
but
is.
But we're limited to
only
quantity.
because, and you can't listen to it
So-
all night. So
So I said,
Honestly, as this warms up, comes the temperature,
Mm-hmm.
as they say, as we say, the salinity goes down for me. And
The
it
what
tastes-
goes down?
The salinity,
Salinity.
the brackish nature of the beer, the salt content, it goes down. The nose really stays the same for me. Now it also becomes a little bit more fluid as a beer. It's less of a sipper, which is interesting because
Less of a slipper?
Slipper.
Or could it have a slipper taste to it as well?
Sure, you can also have a sandal taste if you want.
slip is a lesser.
Oh wait, Junior's not.
Minus the buckle?
He's playing hooky on, and really, yeah,
Well,
he
For
really
a
is
little
playing-
while.
He really is playing hooky.
For a little while.
And so he's playing hooky on for enjoyable personal reasons, I think, more
He's
than
taking a
anything else,
hiatus. Yeah. He'll be back eventually.
He's taking a Hades.
He's been shot out of a cannon.
Definitely into the ground.
And
Yeah, so he's
boy,
in the-
can he
he's
not
into
slow
the
down.
ground. Yeah, he's recovering from his shot out of the cannon.
So this reminds me a lot of, like, say, a Fuji apple.
I like Fuji apples, yeah.
Yeah. So
Very
it's a
crisp.
green but sweet apple.
Yeah.
So it has that tartness and a direct, like, spiky tongue feel. But yeah, at the same time, it's sweet.
Right. Very appley. Very
again-
appley. Very, very much like that. Which is a fall thing. And at least up north, apple orchards and the apples are coming right now. They're going to be pressing cider, and this is kind of along those similar lines.
Anybody seen the movie Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Yes.
This beer has nothing to do with that.
Absolutely none. But I have seen the movie.
Yeah, it's great. It's a
Did
great
we-
movie.
Attack of
Did
the
we
Killer
tell the listeners
Tomatoes.
what this beer was? Did we? I don't know.
I'm sorry?
Go for it.
Sorry.
Well,
Give us the details there,
is it
Dave.
Petrus?
Senior.
Yeah, Petrus.
This is a Petrus.
And all of them are fantastic beers. I love everything they do, and I could drink everything they do all year round.
And it's 5.5%.
5.5.
Oh,
it's
it's the same
the
as the other one.
yeah,
Okay.
It's the old
Yeah.
brown. And
Well, I mean, the old brown style.
That's interesting
Oh,
because
okay.
both of the old brown styles that we have tonight or